Welcome to Center Heist Productions. Please hit the likes and subscribe down below in your right hand corner. Muchly would appreciate that. Thank you to my subscribers and followers as we've built an integral community here. And we've been at it for 3 or so years, maybe even longer. I'll have to check the time, but I think it's 3 years for sure. Anywho, uh, if you come across the channel, please hit the likes and subscribe. Share it with your friends and family. That would be a great help to me. We take great pride in being a channel that sticks to the fact that our mission statement is avoiding gossip, feeding you garbage stories. We're not into that, which end up 90% of the time or more. When you look at a channel that talks about a lot of gossip, about 95% of the stories never turn into reality. So a lot of garbage. It's just basically gossip. I just don't feel like running with that. So we tend to want to go with facts as they fall and give you and debate, talk about that information. And we don't get you here with clickbait. So let's get to it. Unfortunately, this is the second round of taping. Apologize. Yeah, I'm a little frustrated. Wearing the hat, not the jersey, just very ill. So I just doing this simple. Anyway, we're going to give you the box score on what happened last night. We had Montreal and Pittsburgh. We were desperate for a victory as our goaltenders were cold as hell. Couldn't stop a beach ball in the last while, and that's on the Montreal coaching because they did have a goaltender who was doing well at the beginning of the season, but they didn't ride him because they were so concerned about running and getting Monty going that then they end up making the goaltender who was hot cold. What do you expect is going to happen when you do things? That's just bad coaching decisions. So anyway, here's how it all turned out. That they decided to bring up Fowler, and I'm glad they did. This kid did wonderful. Made 36 saves in his debut in Pittsburgh. Pretty impressive for the Canes defeating Pittsburgh. Finally, it's been a while, so this kind of was it was a good game. Not my style of game. Would have liked the Montreal to be much more physical. However, they were structurally better, moving the puck better, and less glaring mistakes in front of the goaltender. So they were helping him out, but he made the stops when need be to cover their errors. That was crucial. So good on Fowler, and this is the guy that we're all hoping is the franchise goaltender of the future, and this kind of indicates that he probably will be. To me, it's after seeing this performance, I say run with him and see what he can do. Get more of a view. They should go with him the next game, and then go from there. So anyway, 4-2 victory for Montreal. Quite a much needed victory. Um, we started off the game well as well. We'll get into it. So the first period, Montreal scores a goal. Pittsburgh doesn't. Second period, Montreal gets two. None for Pittsburgh. And then in the third, Pittsburgh scores two. Montreal gets one. 4-2 was your final. Now we'll break things down a bit more for you. So then you want to look at, like I said, first period where shots on goal, 9-4 for Montreal. 16-11 for Pittsburgh in the second, 18-9 for Pittsburgh in the third, 38-29. And this has been Montreal's ongoing problem is the opposition's outworking them in the shot department and have been doing that quite frequently. We're going to have to keep an eye on that. Just something we have to bring our socks up in. All right, so as we said, 38-29, so good on Fowler. He stood on his head, looked great, square to the puck, positional, made timely saves. That's what we needed in a bounce back. 38-29 shots, 59-41 faceoffs in favor of Pittsburgh, 33.3 to 16.7 for Montreal and power play, which is 1 for 3, and then Pittsburgh's was 1 for 6. Penalty minutes was 12-8 for Montreal. Hits, this is what disgusted me, 25-12 for the Pens and Montreal. That's what I say. The physicality of this team's got to come way up if they want to beat the big boys. And then block shots 24-19 for Montreal. Giveaways 14-12 for Pittsburgh. 9-1 in takeaways for Pittsburgh. 4-2 was your final. Now we'll break it down to the scoring summary. Great goal by Alex Texier, who picks up a a miscue from Chris Letang, who miscarried, handled the puck, and Texier snatches it at 2:54 in the first period with a nice wired snapshot of Jarre. Wasted no time. He's got a. I like that's one thing. I think this has been a great pickup, and I thought it was a good move when they got Texier, bring in a veteran, and this guy does have very good hands. So 1-0. That was your first period. So in the second period, Montreal adds to it with finally seeing Brendan Gallagher score, and you could tell the lines were definitely changed up in this game. And he gets assisted with a beautiful pass over from Lane Hudson, who else, and Slavkovsky started to play. And Slav's been playing some really good hockey of late. He's like kind of changed. Uh, we've seen very vast improvements in his game, more consistency, more defensive play in his game, which is good to see. I like seeing him run with Demidov and Kapanen. I almost see him and Demidov being a future pairing. Centerman, we'll see. Could stay Kapanen. I don't think so. I think Kapanen's doing a fine job. However, I still think we need an actual second line center. That's just my opinion, but I do like the chemistry of that line. So, yeah, that was great. And that was at 4:57 when Brendan Gallagher scored. And then we got a goal from Cole Caulfield, of course. And I just love this, what he's been doing, tearing it up. Just by Nick Suzuki and Lane Hudson on the power play. That was a great wrist shot. And Cole's been just great this season. So then we go into the third period. We got a 3-1 lead. And of course, their event, we would have had another goal, but Owen Beck's goal got called back on us because Anderson was offside. Would have been nice to see Beck get it because Beck actually had a better game than that's probably the best game I've seen Owen Beck have in Montreal so far. Good performance. Brian Russ scores in the third period for the Pens, finally getting them on the board. At 44 seconds into the period, Crosby and Novak got the assists. Mr. Magic Man Crosby with his beautiful setups. And the good thing was Montreal responded very quickly. Demidov starts to play, gives a nice pass up to Slavkovsky, who does the majority of the work on this one, carries it up the left side, but was running at a real state, but puts a cross ice pass over in front of in crease area over to Kapanen, who buries it with a nice wrist shot. This was a gorgeous goal. I just like that chemistry. These three have something, and I think Slav kind of brings that experience that line needs, um, and that's good. So that line to me, I almost think it's good to keep Slav with that line, just because it gives you two lines. Just my thought. Then anyway, we got finally towards the end of the 15-minute mark with 5 minutes left, 15:07. Eric Carlson wires one from the point, assisted by Letang and Rust. Montreal had a penalty, so it was a power play goal. And of course, Pittsburgh was desperate, so they put a sixth skater out, taking the Jarry out of the net. They were bound to get one here. No way Fowler could see this shot. It was a good wired shot. And with someone like Carlson's that type of shot, he knows what he's good, veteran with that type of talent. There was no way. It just went, he nice shot from the point, and it went right through traffic, and there's no other way Fowler was going to pick up on it. So that ended up being your score 4-2. Loved seeing what I seen here in this game with structure and the goaltending situation. So this is who we think is our future franchise goaltender, which with that performance, looking like it. Is he ready now? Maybe. Good, excellent performance, and we needed it. But again, I say the one goaltender, out of the tandem that was there that you can't put as much fault on as Dobish, because the coaching staff screwed that up when they were just so intent on getting Monty going that they showed no consistency in their decision making. When Dobish was hot, you run with that, and they didn't do so. So what happens? Dobish gets cold. What the hell do you think is going to expect? That's why it's important to have two goaltenders. So one starts going cold, you got the other guy. He can step up a bit. We didn't have that, so didn't look good. I mean, Dobish played four straight. That's why he didn't back up Fowler in this one. I do think he should be backing up Fowler in the next one. And I think Monty's the odd man out. They gave Monty enough time to bounce back. He's been horrific, and I never was sold on Montembeau. And I'm sorry they put too much emphasis on him being homeboy. Yes, he did a nice job of filling in while we were waiting for these kids to develop. But I clearly think, in my opinion, you heard it here at Center Heights, I think we've found our two future goaltenders. And to me, I kind of see the tandem being your starter, Fowler, and Dobish being a good backup for him. And I think these two by far are a better tandem than what it is with Monty being in the equation. And I hope Montreal's management and coaching staff does the right thing and goes with that, because Dobish doesn't need to be penalized. He's what got Montreal's record to where it was before this, and he'll get back going. He just needed another goaltender to be working, and looks like it already needed Fowler. And so this is a good move. So I mean, to me, send Monty down. I don't care if he gets picked up on waivers. If he doesn't make it down, I think somebody would be crazy to pick him up for his cost or whatever. I think the time is up. Train's left the station. It's time to put him on it. You either send him down or you trade him. And yes, it's a little tricky going with two rookie goaltenders, but you got Kakinen down and Laval. That if they still need a little more time, you send one of them back to Laval for more time, and Kakinen could come up, and you wouldn't be worried about Monty, because Kakinen would be a good veteran to lean on. You could always find another goaltender to work with one of the two in Laval if that happened. However, maybe these two kids can run with it, and that's the catch. You just got to find another goaltender for Laval if Monty's picked up. I think it'd be crazy for someone to pick up, but they probably would, because there's a lot of teams desperate. However, or just trade him. But the ship sailed. Okay. I was never. He always allowed, in my opinion, too many goals, and in my opinion, soft ones. And then he would get his game together. Um, but you just can't have a goaltender that consistently allows too many goals. I think it was always a matter of time where it was going to catch up to him. Yes, he's an NHL goaltender, but he's not a. He's definitely the tail end of level, in my opinion, quality wise. That's just my opinion of what's up in the NHL. But he is. He's much better than a Caden Primo. I'll give him that. But he's wasn't the answer for Montreal, in my opinion. He served the purpose for the duration they needed him. I love what I seen out of Fowler. That many shots stopped. That was great. He came through because there were mistakes made. However, the team was structurally better. What I didn't like, and what I see that's got to change, the physicality. That was what I didn't like about this game. Montreal brought no physicality. Yes, they played structurally better. They moved the puck better. Thank God. That had to. They needed this game. And finally, you get a goaltender that can stop a puck, and that is your difference. Thank God. So I'd run with Fowler in the next game, and then maybe you go back to Dobish just to give Fowler a little break, not to overplay him in the second game after New York. Right? Let Fowler take New York, and then you go from there. But that's what I would do, and I'd run those two. That should be your tandem of the future anyway. I'd be more than content, and that's the two that you deserve to be gone with. They've earned the positions. Monty has earned his right out of Montreal. You've seen it here. We'll give you a review, and my apologies. I'm not putting on a jersey and going through all that today. I usually do when they win. It was enough. I'm running this. I'm very sick, bad flu, but here I am. Thank you for watching. You've seen it here at Center Heights Productions. We will catch you in the next episode. Go Habs, go! And yeah, way to go, Fowler. And I hope this is it, the beginning of a franchise